Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go.
So hello everyone and welcome to the Mindset Soldier podcast. Today we've got an amazing guest and it's all about resilience. This is Dave. I'm going to let him introduce himself. So Dave, please take over.
Hi, I'm Dave Me. So I'm sort of here today to talk a little bit about how you can think you're invincible.
Yeah.
How you can go through a whole load of shit in life.
Yeah.
I think you can pretty much roll with whatever gets put on the table.
Because you've got an amazing backstory to go with it, right?
A bit of a one.
Yeah.
And then how that can sort of come crashing down if you're not careful.
Yeah.
But you can rebuild it.
Perfect.
So it doesn't matter how fucking bad it gets.
Yeah.
There absolutely is a way back out again.
So the main purpose of the talk today is all going to be about resilience and kind of mindset and mental health. So we're going to kick it off. I want to know a little bit about yourself and your childhood and kind of where that stemmed from and stuff like that.
Yeah, so Irish parents, which means you don't get wrapped up in cotton wool as you grow up.
Whiskey.
Well, one of my early memories was I was in Northern Ireland and we were playing James Bond out in the fields, and there's a
James Bond.
Yeah, it was just, we were really young, man. So it was just diving over fences and all this
Yeah,
kind of shit.
yeah.
So there's a barbed wire fence, and I thought I can get over that. I mean, don't do it. You'll get caught. And it's like, I'm gonna do it. Dived over it, and I've just got a Y-shaped scar in my hand there.
Yeah.
Just tore my hand open.
Yeah.
Went back to the house. My mum's mum came over. I went, I'm dying. She just went, loads of Germline in her hand. I went, there you go. Come back when it's dark. That's when
That's the
food's on the table.
then, wasn't it?
Yeah, but then it was like,
yeah.
Then it was like looking at it, going, well, I thought it was a problem. She's just said it isn't. Let's go and play.
Is that rectified in your mind as a child?
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. This isn't really that much of a problem.
Yeah.
I thought it was a big thing. It actually isn't.
Do you think that's a good way now?
Yeah, I think it is.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I think if you wrap your kids up in cotton wool, you've setting them up to fail for problems they get in life.
Yeah.
I don't suggest throwing your kids over barbed wire or anything. You know what I mean?
Depends what you've done, like, but I love that mindset because that's what kind of bring into my child is let your kids do dangerous stuff supervised.
Yeah.
Let them go on the edge.
Yeah.
But be there.
Yeah.
So you're not passing on your emotions from to them.
It's okay to fall over. It's okay to fall off things.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to go and go, right, dust it off, go for a run, come back, you'll feel better.
Perfect.
All of a sudden they do. It's like they forgot what's wrong.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's
how was your relationship then with your mum and dad? Was it different with your dad than your mum, or what?
Dad worked a lot, so didn't see dad much.
Graft
day, got his own construction business. Mum was like the life and soul of every party. The front door in the house was always open.
Yeah.
It was just a party house on the street.
Amazing cook.
She had a staple go-tos, so like chicken stew.
Was that no? I think that was
no. Good basic food done well.
Yeah, perfect. The best way, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Wholesome, good for you, no crap. And yeah, that's the way it was. It was like sort of just a fun existence, like Gen X. You're just fucking feral. The door opens in the morning, you go out, come back, when the lights come on the street, and that's when food's ready.
So how was your relationship with your dad then? Obviously, because if you worked a lot and had his own construction business, you knew not from a young age. You can see it. Because kids are narcissists. I learned this from Dr. Mate, listen to his stuff. All kids are narcissists because all they care about is themselves, which is true, but it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
So you seeing your dad work all the time, you was like, what was that feeling towards you?
There wasn't any like resentment, like dad's not here enough or anything like that. I can't ever remember that. It's just like dad's working hard.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, you know. It's I've kind of thought about that later on in life. It's like looking back, maybe wanted to do more things with him. So it's mainly holidays. You know, Dad would drive us to Ireland, and that's where I'd spend the most amount of time with him. Or we'd go to the Newins pub in Erdington, and I'd sit out in the car eating crisps, coming in and out with coats and crisps and what have you. So I try to do a little bit more with my kids and my son.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, so that has sort of, you do reflect on these things, don't you?
Of course.
But the relationship was good. You know what I mean?
Have you had that conversation with your dad?
No. No.
So I think it's an important thing. So I'd love for my kid to grow up and be like, what things did you regret when I was a child?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to do that same mentality as work 7 days a week, do this and that, provide. But then I have to make time for your kids. It's not when you're free, it's making time.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. Like.
It is. Yeah.
So what about your mum? What was her kind of relationship with you like?
Brilliant. She's just awesome. You know
awesome
what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just
old age kind of mentality.
I can't ever remember moaning about anything I did.
Yeah.
It's like I was madly into martial arts. Like the rest of my family are all very much like Gaelic football. My brother's a very good footballer.
You're training with Lofty Wiseman, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like he'd be going off to football camp. I'd be
Yeah.
going down to London with a long black bag full of like I'd have an actual samurai sword in it and bow staffs and handbows and all the rest of the stuff. And that's where I'd be going.
Yeah.
Lofty Wiseman, that was a Thai Kai in Wales.
Yeah.
So that I was doing ninjutsu at the time.
So give a brief description of who that is. So Lofty Wiseman is quite
Lofty
renowned,
Wiseman, right? He wrote the SS Survival Handbook. So he's well known in those circles. But it wasn't just him. He'd come and did a bit of a trapping course with us while we were
like
there.
self-defense and all kind of stuff like that. Or...
Yeah, and them boys, they obviously try everything, don't they? So they were there, and you could tell who they were because we didn't train on like mats or anything. It was just hard floors. But whereas we'd be quite gentle, putting ourselves into the floor, they would be pounding themselves into the floor, and it was like
it's making it more realistic.
Yeah,
because you ain't going to put a mat out when someone's going to try.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, we're using it for doing something that's potentially going to break your neck or something, but the standard stuff we just getting thrown around, it would always just be parquet floor, concrete floor, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like good fun, pretty realistic.
So did you pick that up through your kind of teenage years going in, or did you do it as a kid, or?
So judo from primary school, and then did karate for a few years.
Because judo's hard. Like,
judo's brilliant. Every young kid should do judo.
Yeah.
Teach you to fall over and don't underestimate what pulling someone into the ground can do.
Yeah.
It's a great skill to have.
Because it's good to learn how to be fought. I do like boxing and kickboxing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if someone knows Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
Stay away from me. Like, you're going to get twisted up and hurt.
Yeah. Anything that if they've got the distance on you, they've got you. It's a problem, isn't it? You know what I mean? The distance stuff's time. It's like I'll give you something, you give me something. It's a trading match, and who breaks first?
Which is energy. It's all about energy, and back and forth and stuff like that. So what did you learn going through? Obviously, the judo side of it. What kind of mindset or what helped you in that period of your life?
Really, it was just like, don't worry about getting hurt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's going to be okay. It'll hurt for a few days, and then you're better again, and then it's okay. Let's go again.
Yeah.
So, and it was great for stupid things like learning how to roll properly.
Yeah.
If you come off your bike at speed and you know how to roll, it actually saved me quite a few
Preparation,
times.
isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, those things were great growing up. Looking back now, if I could have changed something, I'd probably have like wanted to join the cadets or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the cadets back then.
Yeah.
It was sort of from that, the Tai Kais and Jiu-Jitsu, Bo Bermuth and Sven Eriksson came over from Sweden.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they were running it, so they were really, really impressive. They ran a close protection business in Sweden. So I sort of, from a very young age, thought, I'm going to go to Sweden. I'm going to train there. So I'd worked with.
And what kind of age was that?
God, late 16, early 17.
Okay, yeah. So that was just before you kind of damaged your back, right? Yeah. When you were 18.
Yeah, just before I was 18.
Yeah. So when you were 18, what happened obviously with your back? Because obviously that you said that was life changing.
Yeah, just a little bit. So
you dive into that?
Yeah, sure. I was crazy active, martial arts all the time. I still got a reputation for not being able to sit still, and it was worse back then. Yeah. Was it worse? Maybe the same now.
You become more conscious of it. You're actually like, I'm like it. I'm like, stay still.
But you didn't have that inner narrative back then. It's just like, go. Yeah. And I was working for my dad in construction, and we were decamping one of the jobs in a not particularly great part of Birmingham. So the gate posts were very narrow, so people couldn't get stuff out in an unauthorised fashion, should we say. So all the lads went off a snap. I stayed behind. Wagon comes up. We've got to take that container out. Gate posts are too narrow. So it's like, could you give us a chuck with this? Because it's quite heavy. Obviously, not interested. Want to stay in the cab, which is fair enough. So I thought, I was working with my dad. I didn't want to get an aborted visit charge. So I tried to get it out myself. Got it up so far. I thought, piece of piss, this is okay. But there was a lump of concrete on the bottom that was bigger than the hole that we cracked out at the top. So that jarred, and the bottom of that L5S1 disc just got obliterated in my back. I was a biker at the time. There's a completely bald head underneath his cap, which I've destroyed with a razor, so I'm keeping it on. And like long mohawk, all played back at the time, sort of Viking style. And I had my bike on site, which was a hardtail chock, so no suspension on the back. And it was like, there's no way I'm leaving my bike
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that journey home was savage, but there's no way I was leaving my bike on site, you know.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I definitely, that could have been like the bit
Did
that
more
pushed
damage
it.
in effect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did
of
more
course.
damage.
Yeah.
So then that day changed me from being able to do everything to being able to do very, 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 very
They
little
did say to
for a long
you, you're
time.
probably going to be in a wheelchair for your rest of your life, right?
Yeah, so painkillers is the usual thing when you go to the docs and rest and what have you. So I did that for a while and then started going through all the orthopedic surgeons, seeing if anyone could put it right, because I literally went to not being able to walk properly at all again. Chronic sciatica down both legs, all the way down to my toes, 24/7, no release from that.
And how long from, say, once you actually did your back at your dad's place, did that go on until you thought, I might not be able to walk again? Was it much in your mind or what?
Can't even remember feeling down about it.
Yeah.
Honest, hand on heart, I can remember feeling tired. It's fucking
And that comes from your, not your military, sorry, your martial arts background, because it was always, no matter how hard you get hit, you can still get back up.
Do you know what it is? I think it was my mum's mum just putting the German on my hand going, just don't worry about it.
Just get fucking on with it.
Just get on with it.
You lazy bastard.
Yeah.
How dare you?
What are you fucking moaning about? I'm cooking here.
Yeah.
Fuck off and come back when it's dark.
We've all been in a wheelchair, mate.
Yeah, but you know, these little things in life can just affect you. So, went to see all the orthopedic surgeons. They all said the same thing. At the moment, once you can't walk very well, you know when you're going to take a shit. You know when you're going to take a piss.
Which is good.
Yeah, and you know, and everything works. Yeah. If we go anywhere near that, you risk losing those things. We can't give you a good percentage of a successful outcome. So no one was willing to operate on me. So the last orthopedic surgeon I went to see, shuffled into his room. It was a particularly bad day, like a real bad day. So I couldn't put one foot in front of the other. I could just literally shuffle like this.
Slide.
Yeah.
R2D2 kind of.
Yeah, not even that good, to be fair. You know, I'd have killed to do an R2D2 all back then.
Yeah.
He sort of looked at me and he went, look, you've been to see a lot of people.
Yeah.
Everyone's come up with the same conclusion. We can't operate on you. And he pointed at a wheelchair in the corner of the room. And he was sat there. I was sat here, girlfriend there, wheelchair. And he went, you're going to have to come to terms with the fact in the next 6 months, you're going to be in one of those. And you're probably going to stay in one of those. Now at that time, my back was all like an S shape from the pain. So I wasn't straight. I was all hunched over. I couldn't stand up straight.
So your spine was completely out of line.
Yeah. I was
constant pain.
Oh yeah. You could tell that something wrong from my life. Even if I wasn't moving, just the way I stood, I was knackered. You know, I was pretty.
You can see it straight from the eyes sometimes in that amount of pain, can't you?
Yeah.
The soul just leaves the body in a way.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like my soul had left my body. This is the thing.
Yeah.
I felt tired, but I always felt like, this isn't it. Like tomorrow's going to be better. I set myself little challenges each day, and it might have just been crawl down the wall so far, touch this part of the wall, and crawl back. That might be it. But if I touch that wall, I get that little bit of gratitude, that little bit of, well done, you've done this. Tomorrow go a little bit further.
Because you cement it in your mind, you can do the little things.
Yeah, and that's so critical.
Oh, massively.
It's massively critical. And it might be like tomorrow, I had a shit day today. Tomorrow I'm going to learn how to put my socks on better because I couldn't bend down. So it might be a stick with a nail in it. And that might help me in one way, shape or another. And that was that. But leaving that orthopedic surgeon's room that day, sort of turned to an old girlfriend and I went, taking up snowboarding. And she went, you can't fucking walk. What are you talking about? She says, well, I've seen it on telly. I really fancy having a go at it. And she just rolled her eyes. She became ex-girlfriend.
Not because of that decision.
No. But no. Yeah. Anyone that tells you can't snowboard. But so
you gave yourself a goal in a way. Because I think a lot of people, when they go through stuff that completely breaks their mental resilience down, they have no hope. And when you don't have hope and resilience,
you've got
to keep that up. To make sure there's a pinnacle part in your life where you can transition through that. And that's what you did. You make yourself a goal.
Yeah, something down the line. Don't keep everything just about. I mean, there were a lot of things that were just about that day, but they were later on that day. And once I achieved them, I get a pat on the back, and it's like thinking about tomorrow. Then. With this,
reassurance in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. With that, because I was knackered, I took every painkiller I could take that wouldn't send me to sleep. TENS machines. You're supposed to use one for not a very long time. I lit myself up like a fucking Christmas tree with TENS machines. I full whack. And I did it, it was horrifically painful, but I did it. And that ran weirdly, sort of helped with my core, which helped me with my walking, which helped with, knock-on effect. So it was positive. But yeah.
Doctors don't, or they can tell you where your pain, where you should be with your pain threshold. But if you can endure more, do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they don't know your limitation. No one knows your limitations except for you. If you can do it, just do it to that point or further.
Yeah. I mean, I discharged myself from something not that long ago, actually. I had the prolapse the next disc up when I was doing some instructor training around my house. Completely went again in the same way, and I was just thought, oh, fucking hell. And I've never passed out from pain before, but I thought I'll sleep it off, be okay, get out of bed the next day, tried to get off the floor.
Car crash, what you felt like with the car crash, isn't it?
Passing out's really nice.
Yeah,
it's like a real nice warm feeling. That's not a problem. Just not being able to be mobile.
Your body's way of telling you, mate, sit down, mate.
Yeah. So time to chill. But I passed out 3 times and I just couldn't get off the floor.
Yeah.
So they took me into hospital, did an MRI, said you've destroyed the disc above now. We're booking you into the QE, you're back to see the neurosurgeons.
Yeah.
Don't move. We've been told we've got a barrel roll you if you want to roll around on the bed.
I would have loved to have seen that, though.
No.
Trying to roll to Tesco to get a pint of milk.
The worst bit was when they picked me up, I hadn't had a shit that morning. I was dying for the toilet.
Yeah.
So they put me in my
You don't
room.
have to whisper that. What you're doing, you nearly had a shit.
Yeah. Well, no, I needed one. So I'm in the bed, and they're telling me all this, and I'm like, okay, no worries. I said, what about if I need the toilet? And they're like, well, we'll bring your wheelchair in. And I thought, wheelchair, I don't want to touch one, but I'll make an exception for this. And they said, but we need to lift you out and put you in the bed and what have you, in a chair. I said, no worries. No, my bed was here. It was a new ward at Good Hope Hospital. Nurses' station's up there. You can hear every footstep. So I knew there was no one down there. The toilet was opposite my room, curtain down. So I got myself out into the chair. One leg wasn't working. The other one was. So I lifted the chair onto the little pedal thing and just lined myself up and with my good leg, give myself an almighty push out under the blanket, under the curtain, and towards the toilet. And they're all running down, going, "No, you're not supposed to move." And I said, "Look, is there an orange pull cord in there?" "Yeah. If I need you, I'll pull that. I'll sort myself out." And then every time they left me, they're saying, "Don't get out of bed, don't do this." But when you feel like you know your own body. So I'd get out and I'd be hobbling around the bed, and I got some strength back in my legs, so I could walk, without holding onto the bed. They came down to do an assessment with me before they took me to the QE. And I said, "Look, what's the final assessment before I go home after the op?" And I knew what it was because I've had it before. So I walked down a long corridor. "Do you have stairs?" "Yeah." Up and down the stairs. I said, "Okay, let's go do that now." And they're like, "You don't understand. You're going for a back op. I mean, if I can do that, you can discharge me." And they're like, "Well, you're not hostage. You can go whenever you want." It's like, "I know, but I can prove to you that I'm okay to go home, and I'll have a go and sort myself out." So I did that, up and down the stairs, painful, no worries. Give me the painkillers, went off. Just did the core stuff that they taught me after the first stop, and it's like, that's probably a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and it's relatively pain-free. I know that's on borrowed time, but that's how it is. So, again, just lots of things like that.
How's your mental health going through all that at the time?
Sound. Yeah. I mean, when I was 25, I found a neurosurgeon that was willing to operate on the first injury. And in between that, I'd done Reiki as well, which actually had a massive effect, like a really, really positive effect. And I went on to do level 2 Reiki healing myself.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Mitchell at QE did the operation, gave me fairly good odds. She said, "I can't guarantee you're going to get better, but I can prolong you getting worse. I can hold that off a little bit longer."
Anything that tips the scale in your favour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And I was like, the Reiki actually made me feel a fair bit better. And I just felt like, let's go for it. I'm in a good place recovering now. So let's just crack on and get it done. But I didn't want all the drama of like, oh God, you could be paralysed and what have you. So when the letter came through the day of the operation, put it in my pocket, didn't tell anyone. Then day came, found myself a taxi, got myself into the QE, then just going into pre-op before I take everything off you, I just said, "Can I just make a few calls?" It's like, operation I'm going to have, I'm having it now. "Oh, what the fuck do you mean you're having it now?" I said, "I didn't want anyone stressing. Can I get a lift home afterwards?" Yeah. And it went really well. So then I must have
that's a good point to bring up though, is you saved your energy.
Yeah.
Because this is what I personally would have thought about the situation. If you told them their negative, all energy, their negative energy would have passed on to you. You would have got doubts. Doubts are just obviously a belief system.
Yeah.
And I think that plays dividend when sometimes you just have to get on with it when no one's around, just to get you through it, so no one can take away your energy sometimes.
And trust that they know what they're doing. So I know a lot of people start Googling, I've got this operation on this disc, let's show me some pictures. I don't care about any of that. They're the experts. I have no influence over what they're doing.
Of course,
so I'm just going to turn up, let them do what they do, and then I've got to do what I've got to do afterwards. So it took a couple of years to get my muscles back in my legs and back straight again. And then it was sort of just carrying on through life, just happy. Doing new stuff, trained as a high-risk conflict mediator. I got it in my head I wanted something on telly as a drone pilot, so I went off and qualified to do that.
That's cool.
Filmed Guy Martin in one of his speed challenges, had that broadcast on Channel 4. The second I saw it, not interested anymore, what's next? So my brain's very much that way. I've done loads of weird and wonderful stuff.
So what point for all of this did you go down the road of, I want to say breakdown, but you had suicidal thoughts?
So
mental health.
Like I said, I had an absolute belief that I was pretty much bulletproof when it came to stuff. I'd been through lots of other things and they hadn't broke me. And I can remember a conversation with a guy at the QE who was head of the department for sleep disorders. And he sort of told me, I told him a story and he was like, that's not sustainable. The stuff you're going through, you have a breaking point. And if you keep on going, I'm okay to the point you are, when you get that point, it's going to be a big snap. So you need to be careful. You need to look out for signs and whatever.
The boarding kettle theory kind of thing.
So I lost two people in my life, critical people to my life. Started grieving, as you would.
Do you mind speaking a tiny bit about that, who they are, just so we can get a little bit of
there's stuff going on in the background for that, so I'm not going to mention
that's absolutely fine,
because there is stuff going on in the background for that. Regardless, they were like
pinnacle parts of your life,
absolutely. And started grieving, and everyone expects you to do so. It's like crying yourself to sleep at night and what have you. And
grief's such a powerful emotion. Until you go through it, you don't realise that it's the true definition of love. Once you know grief, you know love. Because you know without them, what the fuck is life, kind of thing. And that's, I think, the true definition of love is grief. And that's what happened to me with my mum and
that
sister.
is as the balancing of both sides. It's like ridiculous. But I'd never really cried. Well, I'd cried myself to sleep once before over a period of weeks, and I'd been attacked in Stourbridge with a knife. I went home. I don't know what happened to them afterwards, but the sounds of the night, just having cried myself to sleep for a few weeks afterwards. But I kept on telling myself, look, I went out with zero bad intentions, just to have a good time. They went out equipped and with the intention of doing something else. I've gone home. Whatever's happened to them has happened to them. So I've sort of got over that. That's the only reference point I had. So I thought it will pass. But it didn't. It got worse, and then it turned into in the mornings.
Worse, as in the emotions around what happened.
The loss, the grief got worse. It really, closing in is the best way of putting it. It just started to close.
Suffocation in a way.
It just started shutting things down on its way in. So at night turned into the mornings, and I'd get up, and it's like, oh God, I'm going to start crying again. I don't want my son to see me. So I'd leg it down to the bathroom, stereo on full blast, shower on full blast. And I'd sit in the bottom of the shower tray and just sob. I had to get it out. And then it's like, get up and you're putting that mask on for the day.
Did you feel weak going through that?
Yeah. To begin with, the mindset of like, you're going to get through this. Don't fucking worry about it. You look what you've been through in life. You'll get through this. But I was thinking about a way of how to describe what grief felt like to me. It's like if I've got a room full of my resilience, I've got different types of resilience that I've built up over the years. Like over here, I've got like a multicolored sparks fucking coming out of it, resilience, bright and vibrant, and this is the problem solving. Don't worry about it. Let's have a look at it and let's come up with a solution. What can we invent, do, whatever? What resources do we need to call it? Then all the way around to like non-reflective grey resilience, which is you've got an instant problem and you just need to deal with that. Let's just get on with it. And then the grey side, there's a fur side as well, like that animal part of you that you need to bring out sometimes, which you never really want to bring out, but sometimes that has to come out. The way I thought about it is, if that's in the room, grief comes in and it pushes all those things. As you're turning your back to them for a second, thinking about what's going on, it comes in, it pushes them all to the edge of the room, just out of reach. It puts a black blanket over everything. It turns the light off. So when you turn back around again, when you're going through it, you can't see the things that you used to be able to depend on.
You can't reach out to things that you thought that would help.
Yeah. And when you reach out thinking, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that, you're just hitting a cold concrete floor, and it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
You have to go through it in life.
Yeah.
It will push you. You think this is what I try and say to a lot of people that go through their mental health problems and stuff like that. You have to go through the pain to get through it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult part of life.
Yeah.
So if you don't, then how are you going to learn from it?
Yeah. But it's important to identify when things become out of your control, because you can go through a shitload of pain, identify ways and means of dealing with it, and then you've got these little avenues to get these little steps back, or at least ground where you are. So if you go further down, you've got a ladder, you can throw your hand up and pull yourself back up to that point, and you're up and down a little bit. There seemed nothing to grab onto, and the days got worse, and your emotions start shutting down, and the hollowness and the emptiness, and the thing that this happened over a period of a lot of months, and at first it was sort of down, but can go out with mates and this, that, and the other, and I had different groups of mates for doing different things. So me not seeing a group of mates for a certain amount of time, it was fine, because I'd just be off doing something else. Dave's always busy. But what I was doing was getting busy, telling them I'm busy, and just staying in. And I'd sit in front of the telly.
Was you self-aware at this point, or was you thinking you were just blocking it out?
I didn't want to be a burden.
Yeah.
I thought they've got to be able to sense this, and I don't want to bring what I'm going through to their party. You know what I mean? They're better off with me not bringing this out. You
wanted help, but didn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
how to ask for it.
It was that man up fucking attitude of, I will get this sorted myself, right?
So things massively needed.
It
especially in this day and age.
No,
but
absolutely.
when it comes to emotions, it's different.
And it will get you through hell and high water. That will. However, when it stops working, you need to, you didn't come out knowing how to walk. You learned how to walk. You didn't know how to read and write. You learned how to read and write. If you're crashing big style, learn how to get back. Sometimes that needs someone else. It's really, really, really important. And I didn't do it. I kept on hanging in there. Every night would be, it's going to be better tomorrow. It's going to be better tomorrow. But when the numbness comes in, to the extent that it does, you stop being able to feel happiness. Which is an absolutely fucked up sensation.
It's like a block drain. I try to put it as like a block drain. All the happy emotions, all the serotonin can't get through.
Yeah.
You've got no receptors that block from this black cloud.
Yeah.
Of just depression.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nothing gets through it.
Yeah.
I mean, so you have to learn to how to block it in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the way I describe it to the lads outside is when we're doing talks on mental health, and we're in a container, and it's in the summer, and it's like really fucking hot. It's like, if I open that door and that window now, a cool breeze is going to come through.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, oh, that's nice. Or you get up in the morning and you make your first cup of coffee, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Or you get under a cold shower, or you do X, Y, and Z. You kiss your kid good morning, or rub your dog on the head, or whatever. And it's like, these are good feelings. None of those things
natural. It's serotonin. You do that.
It's life. It's existing. These are the little things that feed your existence.
Do you not think it's mad though that people now just go straight to medication for these chemicals?
Yeah.
When literally, like you say, pat your dog.
Yeah.
Your dog will go that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give your kid a kiss.
Yeah.
That's instant medication sometimes, and the people, I think, they look outside, not in. You can change what's in the mirror. You can't change what's inside you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's a big point. So
yeah. But the danger point is when you're doing those things and you don't feel the happiness from them.
Yeah.
That's where I was. So I couldn't, looking back, it feels alien now because I feel everything. But back then, I didn't feel anything. So I got up in the morning, I felt literally like just a husk of a man wandering around the planet aimlessly. It's like I'm getting zero joy from anything I do. What's the point? Yeah. And that's the way it kept on going.
And it was critical at that point in your life.
Yeah, and it's like But again, it was kind of, why can't I fix this? Just carry on powering through. Power through. Goes down. Can't find any way to claw back. Didn't want to be around anyone because I kept on thinking, like, I was in construction, so I'd be wandering around the sites at the time, and I'd sort of feel a crash coming on, and it's like, I'm going to start fucking crying in a minute. I'm in a meeting with these guys.
Embarrassment as well, anyway.
Yeah, it's like, and you don't let anyone know what's wrong. So I never called in sick. No matter how shit I felt, it was like, you put that fucking mask on, you get out, and you go through the motion of being normal for the day. Cause I'm a shit liar. I've had loads of head injuries, so I've got a really bad memory.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to lie. I didn't want to say. If I phoned in, I knew I'd tell them what was wrong. I didn't want to. I didn't want to admit that this was happening to me, which was stupid now looking back. And if I'd made that call, I'd never gone to the place that I went to. But it kind of come to a head when, well, just before that, I'd got my plan. It went from, you can get through anything, you're going to be better tomorrow, to tomorrow's hard, man. Tomorrow's hard. How am I supposed to do this again tomorrow?
It's hope.
Yeah.
That's what tomorrow gives us, right?
Yeah.
So we're not promised it, but it does give us hope.
We're not promised hope, but hope isn't a plan at the same time. Hope will get you so far, but then you need a plan. And if you haven't got one, then you haven't got hope and you haven't got a plan. And that's a fucking dark place to be.
Yeah.
And that's where I was. So the only thing I could think of was, I need to be able to turn tomorrow off, because it's just too fucking hard.
The pain, isn't it?
Yeah. But it wasn't even pain. Nothing hurt. It felt hopeless. It was like, there was, the point of being there had gone. I never ever thought for a second, I don't want to be with my family, my kids and my friends. That never passed my mind. That was a separate thing. It was just like, tomorrow's too hard, I need to turn it off.
It takes everything away from you. It's a very selfish emotion in a way. It's not meaningful like that, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
You don't care about anyone. Yeah. You don't care about your kids. I've been there. Like, you just don't care.
Care is gone.
Yeah.
You're not. Care isn't emotion, and it's you
there's
just
no
stop
sympathy,
feeling.
There's no empathy. There's nothing.
No, it's just the emptiness of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And having to get up and put that fucking mask on and pretend to be okay around people, and you feel like you're just going to break down all the time. It just gets too much.
So what steered you out of this?
Well, I put my plan together. So I'd had an accident a few years previous. Miracle that
you survived.
That I was okay after it. And I thought, that's my way out. I'm going to engineer that so I have the same or similar incident.
Talk me through it.
It's going to be 100% fatal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, because if it ever happened as an accident, I don't want anyone thinking, I helped himself.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. So it would never come across as suicide.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the questions of, what could we have done? What could we have done? It would just mean, can you believe that?
But you knew what you were going to do.
Yeah.
Set times, dates, and
I had it down.
So you clocked out.
Yeah. I was ready. And the fucked up thing of that is, when you see the photos of people like the day before they killed themselves or whatever, and they're really happy. They're like, how could someone that happy fucking kill themselves? I was that happy because I'd got my way out. It was the first time I'd had control over something in such a long time, and I actually started to feel happy. I started to feel happy, and it's like it's fucked up, and that you can be happy about that.
Yeah.
But that's the reality. That's the reality of where I was. I don't know what everyone else's story is, but that was absolutely mine. So if you looked at me then, you'd have thought, Dave's in a really good place. You know what I mean? But Dave wasn't going to be there in a couple of days.
Have you seen that new advert? There's a new I'm going to show you. It's so I'm not putting in, but two guys at a football game. One looks quite depressed, not happy. The other guy is cheering.
Yeah.
Goes on a little bit, another game. The other guy who looks depressed. And the next one you see, the guy that was really happy is not there.
Yeah.
That's the guy that killed himself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't see straight through the pain sometimes.
You can't.
Yeah.
You become like a fucking ninja with that mask.
Yeah.
Like, none of my friends and family knew how bad it was. No one. And it wasn't until a long time after. Some of my friends don't know. Some of my family don't know until now, unless if they watch this. But the thing that changed it was, I was driving into the office one day for a meeting. Like the offices in the jewellery construction company. And I just felt the wave, and it was like a wave of like, oh shit, I'm going to crash internally sort of thing. So the tears started coming. I was driving. It got that bad that I just had to pull over. So I pulled over outside fucking Tesco Express at lunchtime. So there's loads of people down the footpath, and I'm parked, drive side door. So I'm coming people. So like everyone's looking through the window or can. So I felt like I was in a real goldfish bowl, and I put my sunglasses on, tied the tears. But it just started getting worse, and with tears come snot, and your sunglasses don't cover your nose, and it's like, fuck, my shoulders are going. It's like, I've got to get out of here, but I can't drive like this. So I waited for breaking the foot traffic, got myself into the back of the car, which had blacked out windows, and I was just fucking completely and utterly crushed.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't know where I'd just come from. I knew I was pointed towards the office and supposed to be going there. I hadn't got a clue what I was supposed to be doing there. But I never ever wanted to let anyone down.
Yeah.
So I phoned Mike Lamb, the owner of the business, and he's like an absolute golden human being. And he knows me, and he knew that something really wrong. I just sort of said to him, look, I've got something going on. I'm not going to be able to make it to the office. I think someone might be waiting for me. But I'm in a bit of a bad way. And he was like, he was the first person that heard that in my voice and asked me what's wrong. Like I said, I'm a shit liar, and if I get asked the question, I answer it. And I said,
because he asked the right question.
Yeah, the right question at the right time. And this was like very close to me turning that switch off. You'd have all this euphoric feeling really great, but then came the massive crashes like I was going through there.
Yeah.
And I just said, I've had enough. It's game over for me. It's pointless me being here anymore. I don't feel like I'm bringing anything to the world, to the table. Yeah. And tomorrow's it's just too hard, man. It's too hard. And he said, look, take down this number. It's a guy you've actually got a lot in common. You'll get on really, really well with him. He says, just give him a call. So I scribbled it down on a bit of paper in the back of the car. Mike hung up, and I'm sat in the back of the car, covered in fucking tears and snot. Absolute wreck. But because I'd made that call, that little old part of me was like, I'll just do that then, because what you got to lose. Kicked in it. While I was looking at it, was like, I don't need this, because I've got my plan, I've got my exit, and I'm good with it. I've made my peace with it. But these digits on the bit of paper, I thought, I'll call them. So I called it there and then in the back of the car, and Gaz picked up the phone, Gary Anderson. He's like, all right, mate. And he could tell, I was a wreck, and you'd probably speak to Gaz down the road. I was an absolute disaster of a human being. I was fucked completely.
How did that phone call go?
He just sort of said, yeah, come round for a chat, and we'll see what we can sort out. Tell me about yourself a little bit and what have you. So a few days later, I went off, turned up at his house, sat in his little counselling room, told him a little bit about what I'd done in the past. I was like a Krav Maga instructor for a few years, and then I went on to be a Kalo instructor, which is like Krav Maga and steroids and this, that, and the other. Yeah, come with me. So we went out the counselling room. He's got a little dojo at the back.
Yeah.
Start doing sit-ups. So I was doing sit-ups, thinking, what the fuck's going on here? And he got a medicine ball. He was throwing a medicine ball at me. Go straight back.
You didn't tell you to dress up as well, did he?
No. Yeah. I couldn't be funny. So I'm like thinking, what the fuck's going on here? And then we started talking, and it's like it completely breaks you out of that mindset that you're stuck in. And all of a sudden, I could talk differently because I was not in my natural feeling down environment.
He put you in his comfort zone, kind of in a way.
Yeah. I mean, got to chat about this, that, and the other. Yeah. And that's the way he works, and it really, really worked for me.
Adapting is key.
Yeah. He's not your typical counsellor.
That's why he's good.
That's why he's good. Yeah, it's very good, and he's lived it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna want someone to put the best security system in your house, you get someone that's a shit-hot burglar,
100%.
because they will pressure test it.
Yeah.
He has been to
the worst. Your boots on the ground at the end, and you've been through it. You've been in the trenches.
Yeah.
You've been through it.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing when people go through stuff in life and become the person they should have been. Like counsellors that have been through shit and stuff like that. I think they're the best ones because it's relatable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want a person in a suit that cop watches you when you tell them about you could commit suicide.
Yeah, and it's all theory out of the book.
This doesn't make sense. Yeah, it don't, because it's not life. Life's not a book.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So he went to come round and we'd be doing weapon disarms and like talking about stuff and going for a walk in some park. We did
you looked forward to actually going and see him. Would I say that?
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was maybe 10 sessions and I was completely back in the game. No medication, just talking. That's all it needed. But it just needed that.
That's a powerful sentence you just said there.
Yeah.
You just talk.
Yeah. And that's all it was. And that's what we say to lads on site. It's like,
but to the right person.
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah.
So you can tell your demons, what you're going through, when people can just pad it off.
Yeah.
Because they want to tell Carol down the road. They didn't really give a shit about you.
Yeah. The killing parties, I had really good. I've got a freakish family. Everyone gets on. You know, I've got a massive family because I've got loads of relatives. Everyone loves each other. So it's, I could have opened up to any of them and they'd have been there.
But you didn't want to pass it on.
I didn't want to talk. My mates afterwards, they're like, "You absolute fucking dickhead. Why didn't you tell us?" It's like, because I didn't want to burden you with it. And they're like, "You being dead would be a burden."
Yeah.
You know, it's just a conversation, and that's what it would have been. And that's what we say to, like, because usually when I first started doing this with the lads out on site, I'd be covered in snot and tears and the stuff at the end, and I'd just say to them, if I can sit in front of you, there might be 20 guys in the room, and I can tell you this story. I don't know any of you.
Yeah.
You can pick up the fucking phone to me.
Yeah.
You can open up to a family member. You can phone Samaritans. You can do something. You know, and I'm putting myself out here like this because I want you to feel comfortable about doing it. Because it's a game changer. Yeah. And being vulnerable is okay. You're human. Yeah. It's absolutely fine. It's
but in the right environment.
Yeah, you've got to do it where you're not going to get batted about and stuff. But I mean, that's where your choice comes in and your history of what environment you've got.
And what you go through.
Yeah. So then that led to me being.
So what you're doing now with it, obviously, because what you've been through, all the stuff that obviously you and Gary do, you do talks across the country at construction sites.
Yeah, well, at the moment it's just Frame Lamb Construction. So I work for them, and they've invested massively in mental health.
I'm thinking further in the future for you, bro.
Yeah. Well, we're doing talks with the cadets. We've done our first one, which went down really, really well. So they want us back, and we're going to, expand what we do with that.
Is this after the jewellery make, or when did that transition?
Oh, so the jewellery making came first. So
can we talk about that?
Yeah. So
I'm wearing it, and obviously it is. I don't wear jewellery, as you can see, but it is phenomenal. Like the artwork that goes into it, not just that, it has meaning.
Yeah.
Every time I look at it, I say to myself, when I'm on a bad day, this is truly what I think is like, because my logo's on there, I can get for this. I'm a mindset soldier. I'm here for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
And it means resilience.
Yeah.
So talk to me why you made it.
So, physically, I broke my neck when I was younger as well. Fractured skull when I was younger. And all these things were like catching up with me because when you're younger, you feel like nothing, you're completely indestructible. But the reality is, as you get older, things can catch up. So I'd re-damaged my neck training in Cala, and I'd re-damaged my back. And I didn't want to go back to not being able to walk again, to have to go down that journey again.
Of course.
So I thought, I've got to do something else to fill my time. I can't sit still, and I can't sit in front of the telly and just do nothing. That is a slow death to me. So I was making some expedition equipment for a guy called Mark Wood, and he was like, he's just a diamond guy. He's ace. And I thought, the middle of my logo's a skull. I wonder if I could make that out of brass, because all explorers love brass.
What's the reason behind that?
It's the old navigation instruments and what have you. It's it's cool
like
material.
And
of course, and the
it's a lot more harder wearing as well.
Yeah. And it's just, it ages, in its own special way depending on what environment.
I think a lot of better colour than gold, silvers and stuff. Because when it deteriorates, I wouldn't say deteriorates. Yeah. There's a lot more.
It's got your story in it. You know what I mean? Your sweat's on there. Your whatever environment you bring it into, it's all leaves its mark, and it's cool in that way. So I made something for him. Went into the jewellery court with one that I made out of plastic. I said, how to make that into metal? Go upstairs and see Simon. So I went and knocked on Simon's door and got chatting to him. He was a real nice guy as well. So I can either take that off you and come back in a couple of weeks and I'll charge you 60 quid. And how do you feel about that? I said, well, that's great for a one-off in brass. That sounds nice. He went, or come back tomorrow lunchtime. I'll walk you around the jewellery court to all the little back street, back offices that no one gets to see for the people at the very start of each process. The guys I'd go and see, or he'd go and see, I'll introduce you to them and just get it done that way. So I did that, made him one, showed it to a few mates. They're like, oh, make me one of those. So I made a few. One of my mates went, just, why aren't you doing this as business?
Yeah.
People will want this. And then the sort of the stories of resilience and the lessons learned, and that mindset of you can get through things. I wanted to sort of embed that in it. So the pieces have bits of stories, usually to do with my story or occasionally other people's stories, but there's a meaning behind them. And people don't buy it because the aesthetics. Maybe that probably plays a part, but the stories behind them mean a lot. So I get some like beautiful messages from people that are like going through like horrific times, and they're going, yeah, but I look down at this, or I feel this, or I've got a coin in my pocket, or whatever, and it reminds me I can get through it.
Of course, yeah.
And these little tokens really, really mean something to people. So I had a higher purpose, doing good for people became the purpose of it, and that drives everything I do in it now.
What does HANG6 mean?
So originally, when I started HANG6, I was making outdoor stuff for myself. So I'd make my own tarps out of Dyneema for hammock camping and what have you.
Yeah.
Like seriously strong, like wicked stuff. You couldn't buy them in the UK. The US made them, but they were like crazy money. So I just got the material from Germany. Think they had to make and made a really nice one. I thought I'd go down that. So hang was like hammocking, hang. Then when it became the jewellery side of things, that completely flipped, and it was hanging there. Whatever goes on, hang in there and find a way. And 6 was learn to have your own back. Yes, you can go to find help and you can learn to become more resilient, but those people are not with you all day, every day. You are with you. So you need to be okay with you've got your own back when you're on your own. You build up that skill set that you need mentally, physically, whatever. So you are autonomous walking around this earth and you're okay with whatever comes, sort of thing, or you will adapt to this ability to whatever that is. So that's absolutely what HANG6 means now. It's just don't give up and learn to look after yourself. And that sort of runs through everything now, and it's what I want to do until I die.
It's amazing jewellery. So where can people find this jewellery? Have you got like a website, socials?
HANG6 official is the Instagram thing.
And so HANG6 official.
Official,
that's on
the number
Instagram
6.
And social media,
and then it's www.hang6.co.uk. There's a few bits and bobs in there, and I'm working some collaborations with some cool companies as well, and other things in the pipeline. But it's just opened up
so many different doors.
Cool doors, and it just keeps getting better and better, more and more interesting. So it's feeding that. It's evolving, because if it stayed static, I'd get bored of it, and I'd find something else to do. I can't ever see this becoming static now. So it's loving it. It's that purpose thing, and it's giving back. It's just been such a game changer for me, to be honest with you.
It's giving you a little bit of purpose back.
And wanting to share that story a little bit, because people don't talk.
Of course,
so I've got a talk page on there. That's a reminder for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Keep prompting me, Bryce. Keep prompting me, and I'll do it.
So there's some cool people on there. Give their story about, tips and tricks of how they get through tough times. And I've said it to everyone. I'd love to grow that side of it. So if someone goes to my page and they don't buy anything, if they go to the talk page and they get something from him, and that gets them through a shit day, I'm happy. You know what I mean? That is more than enough. Don't buy anything. Go to the talk page. Get through a shitty day. So it's like I say, it's been a game changer. Right, wicked.
So I want to ask you some questions, and you've got to answer. I've got them in my head.
Yeah.
I was going to write them down, but I've got them in my head. When you were a child, what was one thing you would want to say right now to that child?
Your granny was right about the cut.
Granny was right. That's the one thing you want to ask.
It's like, don't just apply that to everything. But if the cut gets infected, show someone.
You kind of speak out if you're going through something that you can't deal with.
If things change and you lose control of that, then that's the time to start.
It's being self-aware. If you feel like, obviously, if you're in a good state of mind, you go down the opposite side of it. When you start reacting to stuff in certain ways, lashing out, and this and that, there's something going on. Do you know what I mean? That's the universe telling you need to work on something. Something isn't right. Like, there's a chemical imbalance. There's something going in your mental health, physical health. There's something that you need to work on. So, next question is, what is one question you would want the audience to ask you?
What is the one question I would want the audience to ask me?
Something that we haven't covered or something.
What was a key point in getting better after those counselling sessions?
So answer that question.
It was a really simple one. I started practicing gratitude more. I got into the shower on a pretty bad day, and I said, thank you for the water. I'm showering in drinking water.
Yeah.
How lucky am I?
Because when stuff's taken away from you, you don't realise how.
Yeah. And it was just like, I was thankful for that. And then it went out and made a cup of tea, and it was like, wow, I've got tea bags and sugar, and I've got electric that's going to power the kettle.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. Think about the portion of the world that hasn't got this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not trying to make yourself guilty for having it. You just be grateful for having it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the world starts to look a little bit more colourful. And I'm grateful for being here today with you. I'm grateful for getting up this morning.
It's keeping your vibration high.
Yeah.
Because it can put you in a bad motion in the morning. You stub your toe.
Yeah.
You get in your car. Someone fucking, cuts you up. You're in a bad mood. You get to work. You don't like the person you're working next to.
Yeah.
Their constant thing. If you can just be, I'm glad he cut me up. He didn't crash into me.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
But you're still a twat.
Yeah. I'm still a twat. Yeah.
I always have to put that in.
Yeah.
And going through life. So as we're ending here now, obviously it's been amazing. Obviously talk. Is there anything else you want to talk about or put across to the audience and myself?
It's just that talk thing, I mean, the thing we're doing in construction is because there's such a massive problem with suicide in construction.
Massively.
So
it's the biggest suicide rate in the UK.
Yeah. So a guy is 3 times more likely to commit suicide than a woman, and a construction worker is 3 times more likely than that guy to commit suicide.
It's mad stats, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've been going out, putting our hearts on the table. At first, when we went out doing these talks, I'd just be videoing them. Yeah. And I said to Gaz, I said, look, I feel like a bit of a hypocrite saying to the guys, talk, because you can tell someone to talk, but it doesn't. You can go in and out, and it's quite flat. There's no, there's no meat to it. Although Gary's, and stories, incredible. I thought I've got to share what I've been through because I'm in the same business as them.
Of course, yeah.
And I knew a lot of them, and the looks on some of their faces when. And they were the days where I'd really break down the most. So I'm in the room with people that I was walking around the site, and I'd see them and think, I'd never thought at the time that I'm not going to see you soon. But reflecting back, they were going to get a call to say, did you hear that fucking Dave's dead? They were the ones that actually hit me and like made me realise how shit it was back then. Yeah. You can't. It's just opening your mouth. It's a hard step. Yeah. It was probably one of that. I was just in the right situation at the right time, and if I hadn't had that breakdown, I hadn't made that call because I felt like I was going to let someone down, someone question me, I wouldn't be here. 100% wouldn't be here. Just acknowledge if something's wrong and talk. Yeah. If you've lost control, get the skills to get the control back. Yeah. If it's not within you, go to an external party, let them help you. Perfect. Because why would you deny yourself an awesome life? Because you've got one.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So we're going to end the show there, guys. I just want to say thank you, Dave, obviously coming on. It's absolutely fucking pleasure, mate. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, the jewellery is amazing, and not just like the purpose and meaning behind it. So, guys, obviously, I'm going to tag him on all my stuff. Go follow him. Have a look on his jewellery page. There was some stuff on there that is amazing. And what's the other page? The talk one?
Oh, that's on the site.
On the site. So if you go onto the site, click onto it, and have a look there. If you're going through a shit time, read them. Obviously, reach out to myself, the Mindset Soldier, or reach out to him as well. We'll help you as much as possible, but fucking talk. You can be a man at the end of the day, but if you can't deal with your emotions and can't talk out, you're going to go downhill. So guys, have an amazing day. Have an amazing week from the Mindset Soldier.